All right, guys, we're back. Let's hope to God that this thing is working now. Steve, can you hear me, buddy? Is the microphone working now? Oh, thank God. Ugh. It's a simple setting. I overlooked it. Ah, thank God. Alright, let's take a look at this Type 61. Did they actually change the armor? Or was that Walnut that asked? I forgot. Now let's take a look at the American tanks. Now, we don't have a whole lot of new vehicles. We do have the XM1. This is 9.0, an absolute monster. It's basically the predecessor to the Abrams tank. What changed on it? Supposedly the armor had changed and the reload, but I looked at it and I don't think it has, or if it has, it's been minimal. Right, the XM1, 105mm cannon, excellent reload, 8.7 seconds. Of course, the armor on the outside isn't all that impressive, but it's actually the X-ray that you notice. The armor on this is awesome because of the composite armor. Well, I shouldn't say awesome. It's sufficient to have this BR because almost everything will be able to pen this. You get APFS DS, of course. Not an amazing shell, the 735, but it's good enough, I guess. Well, let's take a look at the protection analysis. Let's see. USSR. We're ranked 6. AT gems, no. Let's go with this one. Distance, let's say 1,000 meters. This is interesting. It's kind of like our arcade battles with this penetration marker. They just announced this today in the dev blog. It's an interesting feature. It's of minimal use in my opinion. It's not as useful as the regular armor viewer. It seems kind of convoluted, but it's interesting. Just one more thing that they have to keep up to date. Jim, have you seen the AMX-40 shell values? It's finally worth the grind. I haven't looked at it yet, no. Do we have any good camouflage for this? I wish we had more camouflages. Like these late tier tanks are not getting as many camouflages as the earlier tanks do. At least not yet. Like say, let me find one. Like this guy. We should have a whole bunch of them. Yeah. Why can't we get some of these? Just more things to grind, right? Or more things to buy if you want. Welcome back, Walnut. What was wrong? There was a microphone setting that allows me to separate the microphone audio and the desktop audio when I record. Well, I forgot that you had to combine them when you stream, so it was only one audio was coming through. What has changed in this iteration? I don't know. I don't have a whole list. Let's look through the forums. They have a post that includes a few changes, but I don't think that they've listed just the changes. They've just kind of included everything. The MX-40, where was that? Right here. 9.0. Yeah, they did add something. Artillery. That obviously wasn't down here. The OFL 120G1. Damn. That's got insane penetration. I don't remember the armor values on this very well. This is going to be a really good tank compared to everything else that France has. Mostly because of the fact that it's getting a stabilizer, which nothing else on the French have beyond, I want to say like tier 2. The ammo looks funky. Let's take this out for a test drive. Even the sound effects here sound different. Oh, it's so nice to be using a tank with a stabilizer. Of course, all I get is the track on that damn thing. Yeah, this thing is properly fast. Turret rotation is it's decent. How did I miss that? Yeah, golden nails are given to the community contributors or content creators or whatever you want to call it, YouTubers and streamers. I love the 20 mils that they have on the AMX 30s, and this one gets the 20 mil as well. My God, this tank! It's like a force field every time I get near it. My arm twitches a little bit. I gotta change my OBS window here to slide it over. I can't read all the chat. There we go. Were there changes to the Type 90? I haven't looked at the Type 90 yet. I've been spending a lot of time fixing my microphone. It was embarrassing. First stream, couldn't use my microphone. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to have to ask Gaijin to give me a preview of this. A French Panther. What have we got for camouflage here? Yeah, same limited view, or same limited number. But 730 for a winter camo. Let's go Type 90. They don't have any new modifications because I bought them from the previous iteration of the dev server. The shell, the JM33, is still excellent. It isn't quite as good as the one that was on the MX-40. The MX-40's got a little bit better penetration. Excuse me. Yeah, just a little bit better at all angles. 1650 for a muzzle velocity. That's insane. 1650 as well. Let's take this out. I don't remember how this felt. The camo condition. How do you not have premium account, Asif? How do you not have premium account? How do you get anywhere in this game without a premium account? Man, this thing... The turret is enormous. It's long. It's a very low profile, though. I like that. The one thing I dislike about the design, though, is that the back of the hull kind of slopes up there, so you can't properly depress your gun if you have someone on your 6. And I know whenever I run into a, or whenever I'm whenever I'm using a tank like this, I always have an SPA coming up behind me, shoot me in the ass, and I can't defend myself. Ran into that with the Magog quite a bit. There we go. Get a little bit closer. You don't even need your main gun against that. Lower its suspension, it'll be even lower. Yeah, that's true. I don't think I have all that set up on the dev server. Yeah, this thing is fast. 55, 56. This thing absolutely hauls ass. But of course, the problem with this is that it just doesn't have anything else to go along with it. You lose this, then what have you got? The Type 74, which is not bad, but it's an entire BR lower. Japan, kind of like France, just doesn't have a whole lot. France doesn't have anything at 9.7. All theirs is at 9.0 or lower. So they can't really compete at the high end. Although the AMX-40 from a shell penetration value can compete. It just doesn't have much for armor. Let's see, what else should I have? Should I take a look at? Oh yes, the Corsair. I've been looking forward to this. You get a plethora of rockets. 114 rockets. I tried this on the other dev server iteration, and I wasn't a big fan of the way the rockets flew. They fly almost in an upward angle, in a very steep upward angle. This isn't going to be as good of a ground pounder as people think. They'll never reach top tier. Yeah. Well, how far along in the game are you? Because without premium account, you're not going to get too far unless you really dedicate yourself. Leo 1 and Bleeding Silver Lions heavily, yeah. I believe it. Spray and pray, that is true. I recruited Frayne, who was another YouTuber and streamer, to take out his King Tiger on the previous dev server, and I used this against it. And I could pen it, but not reliably. They're like tiny needles. And, man, they're so inaccurate. They fly in a very steep upward trajectory, at least they did on the previous dev server. I'll show you against one of these little armored cars. you were to aim this one, you might aim like this, but it flies way up there. It's ridiculous. You have to set your gun targeting distance? I haven't tried that. That's interesting. 100 rockets, is that even legal? This is going to be one of those very difficult planes to use for close air support in RB. You have to take a lot of attempts. It's going to require a lot of patience. Yeah, that's terrible. By the time you kill something, you're going to be shot down by an SPA. Assuming people still use SPA these days. Well, Germany does. We know Germany likes their SPA. That last one was pretty close. Easier to kill bombers? Yeah, it's probably true. I think this could be incredibly useful for ARB. I mean, we all know how well the 84 and 82 can be in terms of killing pillboxes. Give it 114 rockets. I think it was. You can kill light pillboxes with this. You just gotta be able to survive. As long as the opposing fighters don't kill you. How far are you in the French tech tree? In tanks? I'll show you. This is the dev server, so I have unlocked everything. But on my normal account, I'm like 5,000 RP away from unlocking this. And I have probably 80% of these spaded. I don't have this spaded. This is close. This is spaded. This is like stock. This is spaded. I think this is spaded. And this is spaded. This is maybe a third of the way spaded. And this is spaded simply because I asked Gaijin for some gold. But yeah, I'm pretty far with my French. I used this helped a lot, and then I used some talismans on the Lorraine and some of these other vehicles. They just ground all these for me really well. As far as the air goes, I don't have very many of the jets spaded yet on my regular server. This is the new F-84. That'll be a pain in the ass to grind. This is, I'm like, what was it, like 100,000 RP away from unlocking this still, and these jets are basically stock on my live account. Yeah, I haven't flown these. I'm really curious to see how these play with the new cannon buffs that we're getting on 1.79. Let's see, what else should we take a look at? The Leopard 2A4. Did they add something? Oh yes, the DM23. It's got good penetration. Not the best in the game for APF SDS, but it's still pretty darn good. What's the stock shell? Oh, HEATFS, okay. Well, it zooms in. The size of the turret is absolutely enormous, just like the Type 90. No, I don't have nearly enough Golden Eagles, Jason. How you doing, man? Yeah, this thing's fast. Turret is awfully fast, too. Terrible shot. No 20 mils. That's kind of disappointing, especially after using the AMX-40. Oh, love that sound. You don't really like playing heavy tanks? Actually, heavy tanks are probably some of my favorites. Maybe it's because I came from arcade. I played arcade for a long time, and arcade it really favors heavy tanks because of the additional armor. Whereas an RB, light tanks or medium tanks are preferred by a lot of people because of the fact that you can use your mobility, use your speed, and flank around the enemies a lot better. I would love a 20 mil on this thing. It's weird you can't use the smoke grenades in the test drive. You got that YouTube money? Yeah. All these Golden Eagles are straight from Gaijin, and it's used only for the dev server. What do I got? 50 million right now? Yeah, that'll buy me some stuff. Funny how I was given 50 million, and I actually did some math. I only spent like 1.5 million on the previous iteration of the dev server to unlock and spade everything that I didn't have unlocked. It was ridiculous. Let's see. I wish I had. Let me look. Let me pull up this website quick. The game's gonna freeze for a minute. Sorry, guys. Alright, we should be back. Alright, BF-110, the C7. I think that's the old one, right? The F2, the G2, that's the one I want to take a look at. A 37 millimeter. Let's make sure I got everything checked here. Armor targets. Boy, look at that pen. Won't be great from particular angles, but if you can get head on with that 0 degrees, that can punch through just about anything. And at this battle rating, this could be awfully effective at low tier casts and tanks. I want to see how heavy it flies. Alright, thanks Jason, you have a good day. serious lead. Open it all up, man. I would hate to go head on with this thing. Considering it's got a great big heavy 37mm, I was expecting it to feel a little heavier in the nose. It's actually not that bad. Engine cools down nicely. Love compact guns. Ever since they added this, I don't think I've ever used this. Maybe on the SU-6 once. The gun sounds amazing. Let's take a look at the cockpit. Yeah, there is a cockpit. It was actually what I was intending to look at, but I ended up getting put in the back owner's seat instead. God damn, this game looks beautiful. Whenever I'm in the cockpit, I always, just for a brief moment, feel like I want to fly a sim. And then I realized how terrible I would be. That would be absolutely terrifying. Do the Japanese 7.7s and 12.7 sound like? We can take a look. Oops. Wrong one. Let's find... Let's see, what should we try? We'll try the float. I haven't tried him in a while. What plane cockpit is your favorite? Probably have to go with the duck. You really can't take that off, can you? God damn it. There's the 7.7s. There's the 20 mils. There's everything. You can barely hear it from the cockpit. It sounds so pitiful. We're out of cannons. That does sound good. I want to try the 30 mils in the J2M4. Or is it the 5? Yes, the 5. It only takes a minute, right? Yeah. These guns will take a while to reload. Did we test the IAR? No, not yet. Oh! My God. And now we get to sit for a 30-second reload. Damn, that sounds amazing. I've been flying this a lot in arcade. Those 30 mils absolutely destroy everything. The IAR. What branch is that? I don't remember. Alright, here we go. The Italians. Tier 2, 2.7, 220 mils, and two 7.92s. I tried this on the original, on the first dev server. Wasn't impressed with it. It felt really underwhelming. From an engine power standpoint. It felt really slow. I don't know enough about the real life version. My God, that takes forever to get the gear up. I don't know enough about how this plane flew, or how it performed historically, so I can't say how accurate this is. But I've heard that some people have criticized Gaijin for using the lower end of the performance numbers, essentially making it underpowered. But I don't know. If they got it wrong, they'll get it fixed. There's enough people who complain about it. Everything Romanian is underwhelming, except the women. Oh. Love the gun sounds. Sounds even better in this direction. Turns well. Yeah, I wouldn't want to get into a turn fight with this. Cockpit is awesome. Got very few instructions, so that if you're a sim pilot, you should be able to use this pretty well. Oops. Alright, that's enough of that one. They didn't add that many aircraft to this patch. In my opinion, they didn't add very many tanks either. This patch seems to be pretty heavy on features, more so than vehicles. Japan. I don't think they got anything from the air except for a bomber. I think the Key 32 was it. I think that was it. Great Britain, they didn't get anything I can recall. I think they got some stuff in the army though. Yeah, the Chieftain Markman. What kind of shells did it get? Of course, it's got to get HVAP. Ha! And all 4 shells are HVAP. It's not half of them or 30% of them or anything like that. It's every one. It's HVAP. My gosh. Let's load that up. Choose that. Oh, yes. Can I pen the front of it? I think it can. What shell is this? That's, what the hell? Did I really go through the... How did I go through all of that? Did they not give me enough? Well, that's kind of underwhelming. Let's restart that. They only give you 40 shells. Well, that's stupid. 40 of the good shells, but you get 460 of the mediocre shells. I think they're going to add other features. They were going to add one feature, but they removed it after people complained about it being pay to win. I don't know if you saw that whole debacle. I think at this point, all the features that they were going to add are pretty much rolled out, or they've been announced. Because in my opinion, they're going to announce this being released on either Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. It's slow too. It is a Chieftain after all. Okay. Again, the side of it's nice. Frontally, of course, it's not very useful. I'm wondering if they're going to have a similar limit in terms of the ammo in an actual battle as they do here in the test drive. Because 40 rounds is not very useful. Oh yes, the AVRE. What a pile of shit. Oops, that's not the button I wanted. Boy, that's not going to be very useful in ERA. Ammo's all on the bottom, except for that side piece and the back piece. It's interesting how the scoop, or is it? Oh, okay, it is actually modeled in. Okay. At first, I didn't think it was actually modeled in. That would be a huge mistake. Modifications just get hash. That's one shell. Let's see how awful this gun is. Oh god. I undershot that. And the reload is... You basically have to reach the rangefinder for everything. And pray to God it doesn't hit the track. You'd still be able to kill me if that was an actual tank. You know, player controlled. Can I do anything against the T-64? You have to hit just under the gun. It's gonna be about 700. Yeah. Holy shit, it's slow. And it wasn't even close. It's gotta be closer to 800 maybe. We'll try that. The mod was a terrible idea, yeah. There are good derp guns and there are bad derp guns in War Thunder. I suspect this is going to be one of the bad ones. It's still short. We're gonna have to try 800. It's funny, this is actually saying it's 850. This is one of those premium tanks I don't think I could ever recommend. And it goes over. Whatever. What the fuck ever. This game. Oh, what is going on? Yeah, I would never buy this. It's got good penetration options or capabilities. By using hash in the past, you're gonna end up getting a lot of tracks and gun barrels. And that's assuming you actually hit the damn thing. Alright, so the T-64B received a modification that gives it some additional armor. It makes the BV ERA. Let's take a look at that. God damn it, get rid of these bushes. Oh, God. Things have little cancer growths everywhere. Only 5mm of kinetic energy protection, but 370 chemical. Got on the sides as well. That's in addition to this, which is... doesn't really say. Still got the same shells, I believe. Shells that are good enough. T-62M. This I think has... yeah, it's got the fins. These are little fins as options. Yeah, side skirts. 30 kilograms. It's got a decent APF SDS shell. This is one of the few tanks that's got a laser rangefinder as a tier 1 upgrade. That's surprising. That is a funky looking turret, man. Looks like it's got a mask on. Turret rotation is a bit slow. speed is pretty decent for what I would refer to as a heavy medium tank. What kind of reverse speeds does it have? 8? Ugh. Terrible. Damn it. I'm walking here. It's an interesting looking tank. Very interesting looking though. I don't think I'm going to use this very much though. The T-62, the first one, is really good. It's under-tiered, arguably. Whereas the T-55 is over-tiered. These two could probably be both moved to 8.3. And you'd have a pretty good lineup there for Russia. Especially with this being 8.0 now, 9.06. BMP at 7.3. I don't think they changed anything else though with the 906 other than move it down to tier 6 and making it an 8.0. Talisman is 2,400 gold right now. If you buy a talisman right now on the live server, it's 2,100. So you can get a cheaper talisman on this right now if you feel like buying it now. And tier 6 will help you with tier 6, tier 5, and eventually tier 7 whenever that comes in. So that's something to consider. Oh yeah, the IL-28. Do the turrets work now? It does have a turret working. 2 23mm cannons. That'll work. Soviet tanks do not retreat, comrade. No need for reverse speed. Tell that to half, maybe even 3/4 of British vehicles too. My God, British vehicles were terrible. How you doing, Jojo? So on the first dev server, the back gunner was not operational. It looks like they've got that functioning. You can get in the gunner seat. I like that. I know those are small bombs, but I'm pretty sure that should have killed me. Alright, what do I have for igniters for the extra engines? Let's see. Gotta try that. There we go. Just what the IL-28 needed. Oh, there they go. Well, now that's cool. They could have just left those on, and I wouldn't have complained whatsoever. But you know damn well somebody would have complained that they didn't fall off. That was cool. Man, those 23 mils, oh god. How's the Fritz? I have no idea, man. The last I heard, the Fritz was still in kind of a beta test mode right now. The controls are not that great, so I haven't even tried them yet. Yeah, it doesn't seem that different from the other IL-28. I haven't played the IL-28 in a long time. It looks different from the IL-28. I don't know enough about this one. This is what happens when you don't actually read the dev server, or excuse me, the dev blogs. Because I just don't give a shit about these planes anymore. The jet bombers don't really care about any of these. In all honesty. Actually, it doesn't look that different. It doesn't look as different as I remember it. Yeah, I remember these. I remember this looking differently. That's funny. Oh well. With the BF-110, yeah, they have updated the previous BF-110. I think they changed the name of it. And then they added 2 additional ones, including the G2, which is potentially really, really powerful at 3.7 with the 37mm with armored targets. A maximum penetration of 142mm. That's ridiculous. It's gonna be quite good, and it's actually more agile than I expected it would be. Some of the other changes from this patch would be the P-47s are getting their air spawn removed from the majority of maps. Obviously, on maps with Japan, the American P-47s will still get an air spawn, and this will get an air spawn on. Is it Norway or one of those? It's one of those naval maps. I don't remember the name of it. I hate it. Oh, the BF-109Z. I forgot about this. You do get 1 bomb option, 250 kilograms. You don't get any sort of high pen round here with the 30 mils. This is just, what is it, the 108? Yeah, the MK108. I still think this looks really weird with one cockpit basically blacked out, as opposed to the F-82, which has a pilot in both halves, I guess you could call it. So if you get one of your landing gear damaged, can you still land it? This thing is so much heavier than I had initially anticipated. We did get 260mm or 260 rounds of ammunition. Even with an air spawn, I don't think this is going to be nearly as powerful as people expected it would be. The 30 mils really weigh this thing down. $30 mil sound great though. This is going to make quite the bomber hunter. Fight engines better cool down. I suppose once you've seen 109 cockpit, you've pretty much seen them all, haven't you? They all look pretty similar. Although whenever I'm in one of these, it always makes me wish I spoke German. Same if I'm in a Russian plane or Japanese plane, I wish I spoke the other languages. It's more of a derp plane, yeah. Is the new Corsair even worth looking at? I think it's going to depend on what you're going to use it for. I think it's going to be good. I don't think it's going to be amazing. The rockets are, like I don't know if you were here earlier, but the rockets are really difficult to aim. At least the one with the 114 rockets. They fire in a really steep upward trajectory, which makes it difficult for hitting tanks. I'll show you briefly, just in case you weren't here. As someone else suggested, it's going to be spray and pray with the rockets, unfortunately. I like the F4U4 that was introduced a while back. This is going to perform very similarly to that, as it does have the same engine, I believe. I think this might have a little bit better armor, as it was designed for a ground pounder. So low altitude, there's going to be a lot of small arms fire. So I think that if this was modeled correctly, that this will have a little bit better protection for either the engine or the pilot, or perhaps even both. If you were to aim for this armored car, you would aim like this, right? But look at how far over it shoots. My God, I suck at this game anymore. How you doing, TJ? Or TG99? $48 million GE. Yeah, that's because I'm a YouTuber, and Gaijin gave me a whole bunch of stuff to test out on the dev server. So. Try to get a better angle at that arm car, and I'll show you again. It's gonna be very difficult to take out tanks with this. That's why I think people are gonna spam rockets, or they're gonna switch over to bombs. I think this gets 3 1,000-pound bombs, just like the other Corsair, and it gain enough altitude. It was awfully cool though to see those flying off. You get 114 rockets, so you can waste as many as you want. It fired way in front of you. I didn't think about changing the gun conversions to see if that changes at all the trajectory of the rockets. That's something to try later. But as I mentioned earlier, I tried to kill a king tiger with this, and it's pretty much spray and pray. Yes, Andy, I am back. I got the microphone working and everything. It only took me a couple of minutes, but I had to turn off the stream in order to figure it out. Technical difficulties, right? That's why we can't have anything nice. Still can't hit it. But you get the idea. It's very difficult to do this without some considerable practice. Let's see, what else is there? Germany I pretty much covered. Americans, did American get any new planes other than this guy? I don't think some of you even saw this. This was the very first thing I started off with in the stream. It looks nice. Let me take off the rockets. That just adds a lot of weight. As I mentioned earlier, I think this is going to be a decent plane, but not great. It feels like a weak saber, a slow saber. The thing that I liked about this, though, is the roll rate. It feels relatively competitive in that one perspective. But listen to that. Still the same boring landing gear sound, though. They need to come up with a different landing gear sound. They're changing everything else, though, like the guns. Guns sound amazing. Even though I still think it sounds like a nail gun. That sounds better than some of the other guns sounds that we got in the game currently. Roll rate's awesome. It's a nice looking air brake. Rolls really smoothly. Can't say a whole lot about it from a competitive standpoint until you've actually faced a CL-13, though. Or an F-86, F-40 Japanese Sabre. Perfect landing. That's a lot of rockets. Yeah, it is. Over 100 rockets. I didn't check to see how it fired, but that's alright. If there's anything else you guys want to look at, let me know. I literally have everything unlocked except for like the mouse, or excuse me, the E100, anything like that. Okay, the 29K. I was looking at YAG. I don't remember that. I think they changed that name. Yeah, they changed the STRV's name as well. They had the RB52. Interesting. I don't think I've seen a list of name changes yet. I don't think Britain got any new planes, did they? I can't think of anything off the top of my head, and I don't have the page up in front of me. Always give Germany the least of their potential. The Kiev 32. I haven't looked at that yet. I'm pretty sure that's the one new Japanese plane. 7.7mm machine gun. It's a couple of small bombs. Nothing to write home about, I'm afraid. Army, I think the only thing new is the Type 90, which really took a look at. Really fast. 5-second reload. I thought they changed that. Maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, that's still going to be a damn good tank. But still, the problem is, after you die in it, what are you going to take? Type 74 is only an 8.7. Japan needs some more tanks. Gaijin's gonna has to start adding more, or save this until they can get 2 or 3 more tanks to fill up the lineup. Because right now if you're using the Type 90 or the Type 74, you're banking on using backups, which you can get for free through the War Bond shop. But a lot of people don't do that. Oh, I didn't take a look at the F-84G. Just kind of skimmed over it as just another F-84. Is there anything... Ooh, I like the camo. Very bright. They don't put decals on planes very often anymore. I like that. Even though it's kind of low resolution on 4K, it still looks good. Tiny Tims and H-bars. Pretty typical for an F-84. Yeah, I'm not going to bother flying it. They all pretty much are. Well, let me take a look at it actually, because I haven't heard the 50 cal sounds. I like that. Yeah, even the sound effects from closing the cockpit sound good. Man, we're off. I need some Top Gun music right now. Holy shit. Wonder how the M3s sound. Anything is possible at this point. I don't really hold any patch as being final. Everything is subject to change. I've been playing this game for over 5 years now. I can't really get too worked up over any one change that they have. I know everything is possible to change. Battle rating, flight model, damage model, you name it, everything is going to change at some point. Can't tell you the number of flight models the N1K or the P40 have had. It's just ridiculous. It's interesting. It's got the M2 and the M3s. I don't remember that being like that. Yeah. I'll take off my gear. This thing's pretty nice. Sorry, I had to mute my microphone. This time it was intentionally. It wasn't a matter of couldn't get it to work. So the Skyrider that I flew earlier, that was a lot of fun to fly that again. The A&M3s are great sounding. This sounds really good too, especially the little machine gun on top. Love the sound of that thing. Man, it's got some punch to it. If they're going to add even more modern vehicles, well, you know they will. They're going to do whatever they can from a legal standpoint, and if necessary, they'll just start making up shit. They'll make assumptions, and they'll figure out a way, because Tier 6 is basically it's basically easy money for them. A lot of people will use will spend money on gold vehicles. They'll spend their way up here. They'll get the Tier 5 and Tier 6 premiums. Whatever they add, whenever they add them. It's easy money for them. And I can't really say that it's a bad thing. I mean, Gaijin has to Gaijin has to make money somehow, so I just don't know how many people are going to play them. At some point, Tier 6 is going to be a ghost town. Unless they make it more fun somehow. We're still fighting Tier 6 tanks on maps that were designed for Shermans and T-34s. They need to invest money on map design and not just models. We need new maps. Not necessarily huge maps, just better designed maps. Anyway, guys, this is going to wrap it up. I've been streaming for over an hour now. We kind of looked at almost everything that I was interested in, and I didn't see any other suggestions, so we're gonna go ahead and call it here. I'm gonna hopefully get a video out soon, but don't hold me to it. I haven't made a video in 2 or 3 months, and that's because of health reasons. I haven't been feeling up to making videos, so we'll see. Take care, guys.